This is your host, Robert Roy. I hope you're all having an absolute fantastic day today. I'd like to go ahead and make sure that you all can hear me. If you would go ahead and type the number 1 in the questions box, let me know that you can hear me. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, thank you. Folks, I'm going to make this very simple tonight. Almost everything I'm going to ask you to do as far as participation goes is 1 for yes, 2 for no. There might be a couple of letters I ask you to put in to answer a question, but I am going to ask for a full 115% participation. All right, guys, this is your workshop, not mine. Guess what? I know exactly what I'm going to teach tonight, so make sure you guys get involved here this evening. I hope you all had a wonderful New Year and Christmas holiday time for those of you that celebrate, and Hanukkah and whatever other holiday might be yours, if one of those two or not. Let's go ahead and jump right into the disclaimer. Basically, it says, I am not an advisor. I cannot legally tell you to buy or sell a stock. It is against the law. The SEC, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission, requires you to be licensed in order to do so. I am not. And you know what? I don't want to be. So if you find a candidate, an indicator, a trade setup, something, anything that you like here today, my suggestion is you paper trade it first before ever putting 1 penny of real money into the trade, the setup, or the indicator, and then and only then would you do so if it fits your own personal risk profile and risk tolerance. Now, keep something in mind. Because I am not an advisor, that means I am not under trading restrictions. That means that I may choose to enter or exit a trade at any given time without prior notice. All right. So, we start off and I said, Happy New Year and Happy Holidays, and here we come right back with debt reduction trading, and I want to talk about things such as holiday debt. And what happens for many people in this country, and you may or may not be in this situation, that's okay, whatever it is for you is fine. But there are many people that get extremely heavily in debt. I just saw something recently that said the average person in this country has $17,000 of credit card debt. Right or wrong, I don't know if it's the right answer. It was on a commercial on TV. When I was teaching some things for Dave Ramsey 2 years ago at our church, it was closer to $39,000 was the average family was in debt, in credit card debt. Just massive. And it's real easy around the holidays, isn't it? It's the I want season, right? And, buy this, buy that, give this, give that. Well, I don't have the cash, so let's go put it on a credit card and we'll worry about it next year. We'll worry about paying for it. Piggy bank is empty. You're shaking that puppy and nothing's coming out, right? And possibly adding insult to injury, you're broke. You got nothing. You're running out of money before you're running out of month. And you get into this debt spiral. And there's a movie out there called The Replacement. Keanu Reeves stars in that movie, and it's a great movie. I like it anyway. And they're in the locker room, and the coach is asking him, what are you afraid of? And the one guy says, spiders. And he says, well, what else are you afraid of? And then someone says, bees. And he said, is anybody afraid of anything besides insects? These are football players, right? And the one guy, Keanu Reeves, says, quicksand. And he goes, all right, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, you're in a game, and everything seems like it's going fine. And then one thing goes wrong, and then another, and you just feel like you're sinking in quicksand, and you just can't get out. And that's how a debt spiral is. If any of you have ever been in that situation I have in my life, it ain't fun. When you make X and you spend Y, you make, 100 grand a year and spend 120. And even worse, you make 100 grand a year and spend 200 grand, right? Or you make 50, and no matter what you do, you cannot possibly live on that kind of income. And you just get into this debt spiral. Now, debt realistically sucks. Period, the end, it sucks, right? So if you look at the gruesome twosome, I love these two guys, right? It gives you, added stress. It gives you constant collection calls, living paycheck to paycheck, right? Fights over money. Number one reason for divorce in this country is money. It ruins your credit, expensive penalties, bankruptcy, and so forth. So what are you to do? I mean, what do you do at that point when it's that spiral where you just can't seem to catch up? and you need to be changing direction. You've got to do something different. You've got to get on a different path. You've got to get a different way. Because financial freedom, there's a direction for it. The question is, are you headed in the right direction? That's a one-way sign. You may be going the wrong way. So how do you take care of that? What do you do? What do you use? The stock market. The stock market can be utilized to effectively generate the income to completely reduce, eliminate, gone your debt. And I'm going to show you exactly how. So let me ask you a question. Guys, if you could utilize the market to generate a dollar amount a month, and I'm not talking about pie in the sky, but what would you be happy with right now if next month you were able to start generating X for the course of the month? What would that be? Is it $100 a month? Is it $500? Is it $5,000? What's the number that you need to be able to live and do the things that you need to do without fear, without reprise, without worry? Think about this. If you could completely eliminate all of your worries of how you pay your bills each and every month, think of what kind of a position that would put you in. I'm getting some very low numbers. I'm getting numbers as high as $10,000 in a month. All right? Anybody else want to put some in? I'm not calling you out. I'm not going to say, oh my goodness, how could you possibly think you're going to have that much? Just throw the numbers out there, guys. Just throw them out. Remember, your workshop, not mine. I'm going to use some of the numbers you give me to help me gauge where we go tonight. If no one's giving me an answer, or everybody tells me they only need $500 a month, well, guess what? I'll show you how to make that. I'm not going to show you how to make $10,000 if you want 5, right? It doesn't make any sense, all right? So, good. All right, so we're getting some answers now. Excellent. But warning, I am warning you right now. This information may not be for the faint of heart, guys. It just may not. You may have a problem here. You ready? I hope you guys are ready for this, because this is going to really open your eyes up. Or your ears. That bomb is us exploding or blowing up your debt. And guys, we're going to blow your debt up tonight, and I'm going to show you exactly how. I don't care the patterns that you like. There is the potential to make those monies in the market, and obviously you need to start with the non-funded trades. The potential is there, and we're going to go over that. I'm going to show you how we can do that. So what makes the market move? Right? What are some of the things that make the market move? Right? You've got things like political decisions. Anything that comes out of the president's mouth could be something that, our president, could be something that moves the market. Anything that comes out of Russia right now, right? Or in the Middle East, or Korea, or China, these political type decisions, announcements could make a move on the market. Rumors could cause a move on the market. Oil, the price of oil. Yes, oil is down dramatically right now. I've got people begging me to teach them how to trade oil because of the anticipation of the explosion that might take place in oil to the upside, because it can't stay at $35 a barrel. Gold, with the market crashing down as it has the last couple of days, and we got a little reprieve today, right? Well, how about looking to trade gold as a hedging vehicle? But here's the problem. People don't understand the right way to trade some of these things. Right, so Scott's giving me some symbols, XLE, GLD. And Scott, the funny thing is I'm talking about actually trading gold and actually trading, the future on gold, the futures on oil, as an example. But yes, you could trade XLE, you could trade GLD. There are ways of taking advantage of that, absolutely. Right, the US dollar. Think of the announcements. Think of the announcements that when they come out, our economic reports, the US dollar is affected, right? Anything that comes out, the dollar is weaker, the dollar is stronger, has an effect, good or bad, on the marketplace, right? So it's question time. So it's real simple. I'm going to ask you to enter a letter between A, B, C, or D. That's all. But please enter your answer in. Think closely or carefully about the answer you put. How does the market tend to move? A would be fast, meaning all the time it's fast. B, all the time it's moderate. C, all the time is slow. Or D, all of the above. And for the most part, I'm getting the same exact answer All right, excellent, good. All of the above is the answer, guys. Right, all of the above. So think about this. It doesn't just move fast all the time. Some days are fast, some days are slow. I mean, was yesterday a little bit of a faster moving day than today? A little bit of a stronger moving day? S&P, look at these last 3 days. Look at yesterday. Massive move, 55 points I think was the total from top to bottom. And then look at today. Well, we had that kind of little spinning top candle in there, right? Easy peasy, piece of cake, nice and slow in comparison to what the market has been, right? What makes individual stocks move? How do they move? It's the same thing. There is no one size fits all. It's not that every day the market's going to move 100 points up or down, exactly 100, and you pretty much know what it's going to do. It doesn't work like that, right? The question is, can you identify the patterns, the systems, the setups that say, yes, I see the trade, let me take it. So what makes stocks move? Do some move faster than others? You bet they do. Why? Why would some stocks move faster than others? Well, some of the reasons could be current news out on that stock. Maybe there's news on Apple today, but there's no news on Google. Google moves 50 cents, Apple moves $4. Usually it's the other way around. Google moves $40 and Apple moves 40 cents or $4 or whatever it is. Technical patterns. Maybe there is a candlestick pattern or a double top or bottom or another technical pattern that is out there. Maybe a Bollinger Band pinch, maybe a Fibonacci pattern. There could be economic reports coming out. Some of my favorite economic reports are things that come from the Fed, right? Especially now that they've raised rates one time. Anything that comes from the Fed is huge, right? Huge out there. Things such as retail sales and so forth, they all have an effect on the market, right? So if you look at current news, earnings is a great example, a great place to start with current news are earnings, right? Now, I know some of you may look at this and say, Rob, you can't trade earnings anymore. Yes, you can. You truly can. You just need to understand how to trade them. And I'm going to show you an example in just a moment of earnings, and I want you to look at a calendar of earnings, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But then you've got things like upgrades and downgrades, where the market, an analyst, upgrades or downgrades a stock. Some analysts have higher ratings or worth or weight than others. Also, some upgrades or downgrades are a lot different. If I upgrade you to a buy from a neutral, well, okay, it's okay. But if I upgrade you from a sell to an outperform, I was telling you to sell it before, now I'm telling you it's going to outperform the market. Awesome. Awesome. Now that's telling me, wait a second. That's big. And if it comes from certain brokers, that coming from a Goldman Sachs could be massive. Right. Scott says day after day, the next day or two, earnings work well. They do. And that's one of the ways that we trade them, Scott, is that exact way. The CNBC effect is nothing more than someone on CNBC reads a report off that just happened. Oh, a bomb went off here, or this company is up $8 today because of this announcement, right? And that tends to move that position. It's the CNBC effect out there, right? So this right here is a recent earnings calendar. On this calendar, there are 2,493 stocks announcing earnings in that short 27 days or whatever it is, but that 20 days that are listed up there, there are 2,493 stocks announcing earnings. Now, here's the question I have for you. How many of you are actually looking at 2,493 stocks to do the analysis? Now, guys, you can answer these questions all along, 1 for yes, 2 for no. Life is very simple for you. I don't even want you to have to type very much. Scott's like, no, 2. No way, right? I get you. I hear you. I do. I look at all of these. Why? Because I've got a system utilizing earnings that works. And why would I possibly want to give it up? Scott G says, not me, just a half a dozen or so. Right. And that's where most people are. They don't want to look at all of those because they're not really interested in doing all the work. I do. And I took this 2,493 and broke it down to 60 or 70 or so. Over the course of a month, that's going to give me on a 20 trading day average for a month, that gives me 3 to 4 a day are announcing. Now some days will be none, and another day will be 8, right? It's just an average, right? But no matter what you do, you've got to go through some sort of earnings confirmation process before you trade the stock. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. Come on, baby. There we go. All right. So here's an example of earnings. Now, we didn't go and do the chicken trade. We didn't place the trade before the announcement and watch to see what happens. Here was our open, right up in here. We pulled back. We had a key support level there. We took the entry right there at $4.25. This went ahead, and we're looking at, right in the morning at 9:30. We made the move up, and here a little after 10 o'clock, we sold out at $6.95. That is $2.70 per share, or $2,700 if you traded 10 contracts. Right? If you think about it, guys, if you truly think about it, what did that become? That was a debt buster. That blew the debt up. Right? If you think about it, what would $2,700 extra do for you? Right? The highest number I got on what you guys put in there is this. Let me go back and scroll up on my questions there. One person put in 5K on the low side up to 20K. I got 8,000, 7,500. I got a few 500s, a few 5,000s, and everywhere in between. Right? We got multiple people at that 5 and 10,000, kind of that whole number. Right? It's a real easy number to look for. Right? It's easy math in my head. Rose says, a lot of happiness. Absolutely. $2,700. If you could send an extra $2,700 to your credit card company this month, what would that do? What would that do to your debt? See, guys, this is why we call it debt reduction. It's debt reduction trading. One trade, J-O-T, just one trade. Now, when you break down the moves of technical patterns, you've got things like line patterns, double tops and double bottoms. You've got head and shoulders patterns, which could be head and shoulders, tops and bottoms. All right? And then you've got candlestick patterns. It could be dojis, engulfings, or channels, bullish, bearish. And I know some of you are looking at that and you're smirking right now like, really? You want me to trade a channeling stock? All right, let's make sure we are all on the same page here. My channeling stocks probably look different than your thought of a channeling stock. I don't look for $8 and $10 stocks, not at all. I am looking more for the 30, 40, 50, 80, 200. How about $1,200 stocks that were in channels? Yes. Priceline at one point for a couple of months had 3 beautiful channels. They ranged about $200. All right, Priceline's too expensive for me. Hold on. Some of you are already thinking the stocks are too cheap. Now they're too expensive. You don't trade Priceline. That's okay. You trade the stocks that are $30, $40, $80, $100 in channels with the options instead of with the stock, right? So let's go take a look at some. So here's a double top pattern. So what does a double top pattern look like? Well, you would not know it's this pattern until a few different things happen in there. Let me go grab a pen. All right. So the stock made a move up and starts to reverse. Doesn't mean anything at that point. Comes down, puts in a bottom, and bounces. Still means nothing. When it comes up and fails, again, right about that same 108 level, okay, wait a second. Now it looks like it's setting up as a channeling position, or a double top position, rather. So once the stock breaks through right here, the entry is about $7.60, approximately $7.60. So what does that do for me? Nothing if I don't get rid of the pen. Okay, so our exit, the way I exited this trade, I wasn't taken out here. Pull down, pull down. We had some more support here. The trail kicked in, finally took us out right there at $16.70. That is $9.10 per share on this one little double top pattern. That is $9.10 or $9,100 on 10 contracts. Think about that for a second. Debt buster, if You have 10 grand in debt, you just wiped it out. One little trade that came from monster market movers right there, one trade, just one, wiped out your entire debt if you're looking at just 10 grand in debt. Let's go clear that off. All right. So other technical, stocks at support and resistance, bouncing off of a level. It could be trending. It could be channeling, right? Approaching that level. Technical formations, Fibonacci's, pivot points, and so much more. Guys, if it is a pattern, and here, write this down. If you have not heard me say this before, and even if you have, and just say to yourself, wow, I remember that. I really haven't done anything with it, but I remember that. I heard Rob say it. Write it down because you need to focus on it. You need to find stocks or patterns or trades that have high reliability, high predictability, and high repeatability. In other words, I don't want a pattern that only happens once in a year. It may be awesome, but I got to wait a whole year to have it one time. No. I'm also not looking for a pattern that happens every day and 3/4 of the time it goes against me. I am looking for patterns that are highly reliable, and because I know they're reliable, they're predictable. So the pattern setup says, yes, it's going to work a high percentage of the time. The predictability is where it's going to, and the repeatability is how often it happens. High reliability, predictability, and repeatability. Those three keys must be in whatever trade setup you are looking at, whatever it is. So here's another pattern, right? Look what happens. The stock closes right here, moves up, and this is a technical pattern, intraday technical pattern setup. This one happens to be on pivot points. Now, it may be a little tough to see. My arrows are kind of crossed there, just with the way I had to do it. But here's the opening price right there. The stock pushed all the way up to this horizontal line. It may be hard to tell, but that 399.80 level is resistance. We pushed up, we failed, right? And the entry was right about here, right? And the option was $8.40 is what it cost me. This is right at 9:31 in the morning. By 9:40, not even, but we'll call it 9:40, we bought the option for $8.40, sold it for $11.60. That is $3.20 per share, or $3,200 on your 10 contracts. Guys, what have we done so far? You know, right here, we did $3,200 on this trade, right? If we look back at the double top pattern, we had $9,100 on the double top pattern, right? Which really wasn't bad. If we look at the intraday trade on the earnings, that was $2,700. If we add those up, 7, 8, 9, 0, 9, 10, 13, that's $15,000 in 3 trades. All 3 of these trades came from one Monster Market Movers workshop. All 3 of them. All 3. Just one trade is all it takes, folks. It's just a matter of learning what the right trades are. Economic events, right? Fed announcements, they are awesome. There is a great opportunity to trade. You can trade things such as the spiders and the Qs. You have to know how, but you can learn to trade on the announcements. Retail sales. Perfect time of the year was the last couple of weeks. Why? The Christmas holidays, the holiday season. Initial claims, unemployment. How many people initially filed unemployment? CPI and PPI, Consumer Price Index, Producer Price Index. They are all reports that have the potential to move the market, and many others. These are some of the things that we will focus on and look to take advantage of. So there's a reason most traders will never learn this information. And this may be hard to hear for some of you, and that's okay. Because if my job was to sit here and just pat you on the shoulder and say, don't worry, it's going to be okay, it's all going to work out someday. Just keep at it and do what you're doing. It'll work. Guys, that's not where I am as a coach, especially not at this time of the year. Right now, so many of you have set New Year's resolutions. I've got to do something different. I've got to get in there. I've got to make this work, right? So one of the reasons that many traders will give as a reason they can't do this is time. I just don't have the time to do this. I don't even have time to look for candidates every day. I don't have the money. Misconception that you need a lot of money to do this. It really is. Because when you go back on that $2,700 of profit we made intraday and spent $5 or $6, I don't remember exactly what it was, on that trade, there's not a lot of money in there. Well, Rob, I can't do 10. Then do one. You don't have to do 10. You had $800, you do one contract. So what? That's what you do. Capability. I'm not capable. I just haven't learned it all yet. Right? Fear. False evidence appearing real. Right? All of these and so many other reasons add up to one thing. Excusitis. They're not reasons, they're excuses. And I'm guilty as everybody else. Scott put a 1 in there. Yep. I am as guilty as everybody else for doing that. I make excuses like that all the time. I can't do this because when I first started, if I just had more money, I could make more money faster. You know, the part people forget there is you could lose more money faster too. It's not a matter of more money. It's not a matter of having the capability. I can train you how to do this. I can help you find the time. I can reduce your time every single day. Right? I can help eliminate the fear by doing non-funded trades to practice and to learn how to feel comfortable in your own skin as a trader, because that's really what it comes down to. So the reasons that you must attend a Monster Market Movers, and guys, I really should have named this Monster Market Movers version 2.0, because if you say, Rob, I've been there before, and you know I've seen the workshop before, you haven't. You haven't. Guys, I took last month off. We're doing this 4 years now. I took last month off, completely revamped it. I'm going to show you tonight. There's over 3 hours of training before you even get to the class, and it's available right now. You're going to receive a professional level trading course. Yes, professional level. The prerequisite manual is 109 pages long with 11 prerequisite videos over 3 hours in total. It is not the same manual that we had. What I've basically done is taken all of the teaching, with the exception, and I'll talk about pattern of the month in a moment, with the exception of pattern of the month, I've taken all the teaching out of the 2-hour workshop, which is coming up on the 12th, and I've put it all into the prereqs. And it is now 3 hours of prerequisites that are in there. And here it is. On my account page, Monster Market Movers. Video 1, getting started. Video 2, economic reports. Video 3, reviewing the market. Video 4, options analysis. Video 5 is Fibonacci. 6 is pivot points. 7 is technical indicators. 8 is the pattern of the month. 9 are all the other patterns that we look at in Monster Market Movers and how to trade them. 10 is the watch list and the addendum slides. And 11 is Jumpstart. And then the 109-page class manual is right here. All right, guys, this to me, so if you go and look, here's the one from November. The manual, the watch list, the Fib candidate videos, the class addendum slides, right? And then there was one video, it was 90 minutes long. Now, these videos right here, 1 to 11, over 3 hours of training. Over 3 hours. The Fibonacci video shows up on your My Account page the day before the event. Last month, or the last month we did it, which was November, we had 194 Fibonacci patterns. That's great, but it's not going to do you very much good if you don't know where to draw the fib. So I take a video of every one of the stocks, and I record it for you, and you just pause the video, you draw the fibs, and then you start the video back up again. Then the class starts off by answering questions, right, if you were in last month's Monster Market Movers. And then we go over the workshop manual, which is a different manual than the manual that we deal with in the prerequisites. And it starts off, and I'll show you exactly where we're going to be and how much time we're going to spend on each section of the manual in a moment. We review the pattern of the month. Each and every month we do a different pattern. Once the month is over, the pattern disappears. You've downloaded it in your manual. You've got a copy of it. But next month, it's a new pattern. I teach you how to trade that pattern, the statistics behind it. And again, if you go back here and you look at the pattern of the month video, that video will show you, will teach you how the pattern of the month works and what to be expecting, what to look for. Then we go over the watch lists. Scott says, well structured, Rob. Nice. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. We review the watch lists. Now, this is the major difference of the new version of the Monster Market Movers compared to where we used to do it. We spent very little time on the candidates themselves, the watch lists. We're going to spend the majority of the time on the watch list, and I will show you exactly how much in a moment. Homework is then assigned. Yes, you're going to have homework. Homework? Wait, Rob, you got a 3-hour prerequisite, a 2-hour workshop, a Fibonacci video. There's homework on top of that. How many hours are we talking about here? I know. What this workshop costs is insane how inexpensive it is. With what you get out of this, when you say you don't have the time and I hand you 300 trading candidates with pattern analysis on each of them, what's on a channeling stock, where it's located on the channel, is it near support or resistance, same thing with trends, same thing with Fibonacci patterns, right? I'm cutting down the amount of time. One of the excuses, one of the reasons of not being able to do this is I'm cutting down the amount of time that you'll have to spend. The addendum slides arrived the day after. Wait. There's another manual? Yes, the day after the workshop. I'll show it to you the night of the workshop, but I can't even do anything with it. I can't even get it together until the day of because I analyze candlestick patterns and things like that and put them in there. I also set you up with, here's all the symbols I already gave you that are in the workshop manual. These are the ones that are near supports, resistances, key levels on that list as well. Right, and then we continue the training process at next month's workshop. So guys, if you look, the main focus in the live workshop, 15 minutes, we're going to analyze the market. Pattern of the month will be about 20 minutes. Sometimes it'll be more or less, but right about there. 85 minutes will be candidates. We're going to go through and review candidates for 85 minutes of this time period. Now guys, here's what I want to do. Do any of you just give me a 1 if you would like to see some of the candidates from last month and how they did? So Rose is asking, does the prerequisite manual remain the same or does it change each month? Rose, it will remain the same. And that's done on purpose. I'm not trying to teach you new things in there every month. I'm trying to teach you how to trade effectively using one system. All right, so we're getting, the screen is lit up. I am just blown away. Biggest number of answers I got was right there of yes, please show us the candidates. All right, so let me bring up extreme charts. Now, guys, you see that yellow highlight bar that's on there? That is the last Monster Market Movers that I taught. That was the date of it, right? So let's start off with some simple things such as channels, AME. Let's see. Okay. Let's do that again. AME. So, guys, you can see this great channel that was set up in there. Right on this yellow bar, that was the day of Monster Market Movers. It already had pulled back. We talked about waiting for it to come back and tag this 56.38 and roll over. Scale out of half of the trade in the middle and the second half right above that 53.51, maybe $1.80, 50 cents above that level, right? We had 1, 2, 3 times it moved on AME inside of that channel. Each time it did, we made about $1,250. Let's just call it $1,000 on our options. That was $3,000 that we made on this one trade. $3,000, right? Not bad. Let's go look at AWI. So on AWI, here we were. We finally made the move back up to resistance, and we rolled over from 52 down to 46. On AWI, we made $2,200. $2,200 what we made on AWI. Simple channel. TSN is another one, right? We were right here. We pulled back. We came above. You enter the trade. Yep, it pulled back. We scaled out of half the trade around that 46 level and the other half around 47. We made $1,820, I think it was, on that one, on TSN. So you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about $7,000 give or take, a little bit more, but we'll call it $7,000 on simple channels. All right, Rob, what else you got besides channels? All right, so how about RIO, R-I-O? Nice trending pattern in there, downtrend, kind of middle of the pattern. We moved up to this 35.5 level, and we're out of the trade right about 31.5. It's about a $4 move. That gave us $3 on the option, a little more, but we'll call it 3 just for math purposes, $3,000 on RIO. Here we have RRC. Not as steep of a channel. I do like that a lot. Here we were, came back up to resistance, right about 35, and we're out at about 25. What? $35 stock, $10 move. Yep, $9. Call it a $9 move on the stock, $8 move on the option, $8,000. That's $11,000 on the trends and $7,000 on 2 channels, 3 channeling patterns in there. Here, let's do this. Let's go to PH. We look at stocks that are approaching $100. I analyze certain patterns that we look for, and what happens? On this day, the stock was right at about 102.25, and we're looking for it to move down to 100. It moved down to 99. So on that setup right there, we were up about $2,000 on our options. A little bit over, but again, we'll just call it 2,000. CMI, same thing. Right? Here on CMI, we were at about, wrong one. Fat fingers. Here we go. CMI, we closed at 103.75, opened up at 103.5. We made our move well down below 100, but I'll take the $100 move. $3.50 move on the stock. We're looking at $2.80 on our options, so $2,800. We're up $4,800 on these patterns right here. Guys, I can show you example after example after example after example. You know, we're looking at, goodness gracious, let's go look at Goldman Sachs. I'll just show you one fib pattern. Goldman Sachs is sitting right up over here on the day of our analysis. Can anybody tell me what letter we're looking at here? What pattern we're looking for? What trade setup? It's a lowercase letter. Grab a pen. I see you guys typing it in there. It's an H, lowercase h. Rob, that is ugly, a lowercase h. It might be ugly, but it's actually the prettiest letter in the alphabet. It's definitely the most profitable letter in the alphabet. We come right off of that level. We use the 4-3-2-1 exit system that I teach. We scale out of 4 contracts, then 3, then 2. We get stopped out of the last one. Guys, on this setup alone, if you look at it, we made $5 on our options on 4 contracts. So you're looking at a $5 move times 4 contracts, right? You're looking at $2,000 on that one. You're looking at the next move of $1,000, actually another $2,000. You're looking at, no, it's $3,000. You're looking at the third move, the third exit, 1, 2, 3. That's a $16 move on 2 contracts. That's another $3,000. And then a $20 move on the last contract is another $2,000. So 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $9,000 on just one trade. And guys, we had Fibonacci 4 steps that made us $5,000. We had Fibonacci channels that made us 15. Watch. This is big airplane. Boeing. Well, let's try it again. All right. So Fibonacci channel. I identified that it looked like we had a channel setting up in there. We came down. We went 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves. Actually, I only identified it as 3 times. Each move netted us in total, somewhere between those 4, about $20,000 on Goldman Sachs. $6 move in there. We picked up 5 on each exchange. That's $20,000. Guys, if you add these numbers up, you're looking at $30, $40, $50,000 from last month's Monster Market Movers. That's a debt buster. So when someone says, yeah, I've been there before, it didn't work, okay. Maybe you got to look at it and approach it in a different manner, right? The opportunity, the potential is there. There is no question that it works. The only question is, are you going to make it work for you? So, guys, Monster Market Movers, when is it? It is coming up Tuesday, next week, January 12th, 8 to 10 p.m. Your normal rate for this would be $149. You get a discount for spending this time here with me tonight and for being decisive. Call the office tomorrow, and it's $149. Pick it up tonight, it's $129. Or if you're a savvy investor, you look at this and you're going to get, if you purchase the next 5 Monster Market Movers, you're going to get the 6th one free. And that's at a much reduced price of $99 each. You're looking at $495 for a 6-month subscription to this. Guys, it's version 2.0. It's New Year's resolution time. It is game changer for you. What are you going to do different this year that you haven't done in the past? What is going to make your trading profitable or more profitable this year than it was before? Only you can answer that question, what you're going to, or I should say what you're willing to do to make it happen. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help you get there. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes to get you there? Right? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. I appreciate you all being here and taking the time out to spend this time with me this evening. I appreciate all your participation. I want to wish you all the best of luck. God bless. And I will see you on the 12th, which is next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Rob, what if I can't be there live? It's recorded. Don't worry. It's recorded for 30 days. So you can go back and watch the recording. You do not want to miss it. You want to be there for this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have an awesome night, and I'll see you at Monster Market Moves. Take care, folks.